You're dead when we get home. Dead. Do you understand me? Sarah's fork clattered against her plate. Ryan's hand shot across the table, his fingers digging into her wrist. His voice dropped to a hiss. Keep smiling. She forced her face into something resembling calm. Around them, Giovanni's glittered with Saturday night elegance, champagne laughter, anniversary celebrations. No one was watching. No one ever watched. Who's Michael? Ryan twisted her wrist harder. Who the fuck is Michael, Sarah? Ryan, please. Answer me. But someone was watching. At the next table, a man in a dark suit set down his wine glass. Slowly, deliberately, his eyes locked on Ryan's hand, still crushing Sarah's wrist. And he stood up. Before we continue, subscribe and hit that bell. This story goes places you won't believe. Stay until the end and comment your city below, so I can see how far Sarah's story reaches. Now let's begin. I don't know any Michael, Sarah's voice cracked. Ryan, you're hurting me. Good. He released her wrist and she yanked it back, cradling it against her chest. Red marks bloomed across her skin. Maybe pain will help you remember. There's nothing to remember Michael's, the new intern he emailed about the Henderson account. At 7 in the morning. He works early. Stop lying. Ryan's fist slammed to the table. Their wine glasses jumped. A woman at the next table glanced over, then quickly looked away. You think I'm stupid? You think I don't see what you're doing? Sarah felt her throat closing. They'd done this dance before. Different names, same accusation. Last month it was the barista. Before that, her yoga instructor. Ryan saw competition everywhere, threats everywhere, and every accusation ended the same way. There's nothing happening, she whispered. Michael's 23. He's engaged. I barely know him. You're defending him. Ryan leaned back, his smile cold. That tells me everything I need to know. I'm not defending anyone, I'm telling you the truth. Your truth. He picked up his wine, swirled it. Which is whatever keeps you out of trouble, right? Whatever narrative makes you look innocent. Sarah's hands were shaking. She pressed them flat against her lap, trying to steady herself, trying to remember how to breathe. Ryan, please. It's our anniversary. Can we just what, pretend everything's fine? He took a slow sip. While you're sexting some kid at your office. I'm not sexting anyone. Lower your voice. His tone was ice. People are staring. She hadn't realized she'd raised her voice. Heat flooded her cheeks as she glanced around the restaurant. A few faces had turned their way, curious, concerned. She wanted to disappear. I'm sorry, she said automatically. I didn't mean to. You never mean to. Ryan set down his glass with deliberate precision. You never mean to embarrass me, disrespect me, make me look like a fool, but somehow it keeps happening. The waiter appeared, sensing trouble. Is everything all right here? Perfect. Ryan's smile was dazzling. Just a small disagreement. You know how it is. He winked man to man. Women, right? The waiter laughed uncomfortably and retreated. Sarah wanted to scream, wanted to grab him and say, no, nothing is perfect, help me. But she didn't. She never did. Here's what's going to happen, Ryan said, his voice pleasant for anyone listening. You're going to finish your pasta. You're going to smile and nod while I talk. And when we leave, you're going to walk to the car like the perfect fiancé. Understand? Yes. And when we get home, his eyes went dead. When we get home, we're going to have a real conversation about boundaries, about respect, about what happens when you make me look stupid in public. Sarah's stomach dropped. Ryan, I didn't. Shut up. He picked up his fork, started eating. Not another word until I say so. She closed her mouth, her pasta turning to cardboard in front of her. The restaurant sounds faded to white noise. She was already there, already home, already living the next 3 hours. The silent car ride, the door closing behind them. Ryan's explosion finally unleashed. Sometimes it was yelling that lasted until her ears rang. Sometimes the silent treatment for days, freezing her out until she apologized for things she hadn't done. Once, just once, his fist had gone through the wall next to her head. He'd cried after, apologized, sworn it would never happen again. It hadn't. He'd learned to aim better, at things not at her. Phones, lamps, once her laptop. You're crying, Ryan's voice cut through her thoughts. Seriously, now you're crying. Sarah touched her face. She hadn't realized. I'm sorry. Jesus Christ. He threw his napkin down. The victim act, classic. Make me the bad guy because I dare to question you. I'm not trying to, I said shut up. His voice rose sharp. Several heads turned. Ryan noticed smooth his expression. I mean it, Sarah. One more word and we're leaving right now. She bit her lip hard enough to taste blood, nodded. That's when she saw him, the man at the next table watching them with dark, unreadable eyes. He'd been there when they arrived. Sarah remembered noticing him because he was alone, unusual for a Saturday night. A book lay open beside his plate, but he wasn't reading. He was listening. How much had he heard? Everything, she realized. The walls here weren't that thick, the tables not that far apart. He'd heard Ryan threaten her, heard him call her a liar, heard every poisonous word. Shame burned through her. She looked away, but not before catching his expression. Not pity, something harder. Something that looked like recognition. Ryan was talking again, his voice carrying just enough to reach nearby tables. Performance mode, Sarah called it. The successful businessman taking his beautiful fiancée to dinner. Look how perfect we are. Look how in love. And that's when I closed the Mercer deal. 300,000 just like that. He snapped his fingers. My boss couldn't believe it. Said I'm on track for partner by next year. Sarah made the appropriate sounds. Smiled when expected. It was a role she'd perfected over 3 years. You're not listening. Ryan's hand shot out again, but this time she was ready. She pulled back before he could grab her. His eyes narrowed. Did you just flinch away from me? No, you did. You flinched, like I was gonna hit you. His laugh was ugly. That's rich. That's really rich, Sarah, making me out to be some kind of monster. I didn't mean... There you go again, always explaining, always making excuses. He leaned forward. You know what I think. I think you want people to think or I hurt you. I think you're building a narrative, setting me up. That's insane. Is it? His voice dropped to barely a whisper. Or is it the truth? Are you planning to leave, Sarah? Is that what this is about? You and Michael making plans while I'm at work? No. The denial came out too loud, too desperate. Ryan, I swear there's nothing. Prove it. He pulled out his phone. Show me your messages. Right now. Sarah's heart hammered. What? Your phone. Unlock it. Let me read your messages with Michael. Ryan, I can't just... Why not? His smile was cruel. If there's nothing to hide, you can show me, unless there's something you don't want me to see. This was the trap. Say no, and she was guilty. Say yes, and he'd find something, an innocent emoji, a friendly tone, and twist it into evidence. There was no right answer. Sarah's mind raced. I left my phone in the car. Bullshit. Ryan's hand moved to her purse. It's right here. Don't touch my purse. The words came out hard, surprising them both. Ryan's hand froze. For a moment, something dangerous flickered in his eyes. What did you just say to me? Sarah's courage evaporated. I just meant, it's private. He tasted the word. Your purse is private. Your phone is private. Your office emails are private. Everything with you is private, isn't it? Everything except what belongs to me. That's not what I... Check, please. Ryan's voice cut across the restaurant. The waiter appeared nervous now. We're leaving. No, not yet. Too early. Sarah felt panic rising. Ryan, we haven't finished. I've finished. He pulled out his credit card, slapped it on the table. And so have you. Get your things. Please. Now, Sarah. Her hands moved on autopilot, reaching for her clutch. This was happening. In 5 minutes, they'd be in his car. In 20, they'd be home. And then, excuse me. The voice came from behind her. Deep. Calm. Absolutely certain. Sarah turned. The man from the next table stood there tall in his dark suit. Up close, he was maybe 40, with a face that had seen things and remembered them. His eyes held Ryan's without blinking. Can I help you? Ryan's tone was dismissive. I was hoping to have a word, privately. Ryan's laugh was sharp. Are you serious? Do I know you? No, but I know you. The man's voice didn't rise, but something in it made people at nearby tables go quiet. My name is Matthew Davis, and I think we should talk. I don't give a damn what your name is. You grabbed that woman's wrist hard enough to leave bruises. Matthew gestured at Sarah's arm where red marks were darkening to purple. I saw it. So did half this restaurant. Now we can discuss this here or outside. Your choice. Ryan's face went red. This is none of your business. I'm making it my business. She's my fiancée. This is between us. Was that her choice? Matthew's gaze shifted to Sarah. Miss, are you here willingly? Do you feel safe? The question hung in the air. Sarah's mouth opened, closed. Every instinct screamed at her to say yes, everything's fine. Please don't make this worse. But the word that came out was no. Ryan's head whipped toward her. What? No. Sarah repeated stronger now. I don't feel safe. Ryan stood so fast his chair screeched. After everything I've done for you, everything I've given you, this is how you repay me. Sit down, Mr. Holt. Matthew's voice was soft as silk. How do you know my name? Sit down. Something in Matthew's tone made Ryan hesitate, made him look at this stranger and see something that gave him pause. Slowly he sat. Matthew pulled out Sarah's chair, gestured for her to stay seated, then took the empty chair across from Ryan. The power dynamic shifted so completely, so absolutely, that Sarah almost didn't notice it happening. Now then, Matthew said, let's talk about consequences. I don't have to listen to this. Ryan Andrew Holt, 32, Senior Account Manager at Prestige Financial. Matthew spoke like he was reading from a file. Apartment 4C at Riverside, leased BMW. 3 months behind on rent despite telling Sarah you're moving to a better place. Ryan's face went white. How? Your ex-girlfriend Amanda filed a restraining order 18 months ago. Verbal abuse threats, intimidation. She dropped it when she moved to Seattle, but the report still exists. Matthew leaned forward. Before Amanda, there was Emily. Before Emily, Jessica. Same patterns, same behavior, same threats. Sarah felt the floor drop. Ryan. He's lying, Ryan said quickly. Sarah, I don't know who this guy is, but he's making this up. Matthew placed a business card on the table. Simple white-black text. Matthew Davis, private consultant. He flipped it over, a phone number in neat handwriting. Emily's number. Call her. She'll tell you everything. This is insane. Ryan pushed back from the table. Sarah, we're leaving. Right now. Sit down. Fuck you. You can't. Who the hell do you think you are? Matthew stood, slowly, and something about the way he moved made everyone within 10 feet go silent. I think, Matthew said quietly, that you should be very careful about what happens next. Ryan took a step back. His bravado crumbled visibly. I could call the police. Please do. Matthew gestured to Sarah's wrist. I'm sure they'd love to see those bruises. Funny thing about Giovanni's, they have security cameras. I wonder what they caught. Ryan's hand moved toward his phone, stopped. His face cycled through expressions, rage, fear, calculation. Finally, he looked at Sarah with an expression she knew the wounded victim. This is what you wanted, isn't it? You set this up. You and him. How long have you been planning this? Ryan, I've never seen this man. Liar. The word exploded. You lying bitch. This whole thing, the dinner making me look crazy. It was all a setup. Mr. Holt? Matthew's voice cut like a knife. Leave us now. She's my fiancée. She was your victim. Now she's under my protection. The words settled over Sarah like a shield. Heavy, solid, real. Ryan pointed at Matthew with a shaking hand. I don't know who you think you are, but this isn't over. Sarah is coming home with me. No, Sarah's voice was clear. I'm not. Both men looked at her. She was as surprised as they were. But now that she'd said it, she couldn't take it back. Didn't want to. No, Ryan's voice rose. After everything, the ring on your finger, the apartment, I'm paying for the life I've given you. The life you've taken, Sarah corrected. Her hands had stopped shaking. I'm done, Ryan. The hell you are. He moved toward her, and Matthew stepped between them. Not aggressive, just there. Absolute. Touch her, Matthew said, and you'll spend tonight in a hospital instead of your apartment. The threat was delivered so calmly it took a moment to register. When it did, Ryan's face went purple. You're threatening me in front of witnesses. I'm making a promise. There's a difference. The restaurant manager appeared flanked by 2 large men in suits. Gentlemen, we're going to have to ask. Mr. Holt was just leaving, Matthew said without breaking eye contact. He pulled out a money clip, peeled off several hundreds. His card's been declined. This should cover both checks and the disruption. Ryan stared at the money like it was poisonous. You can't just, I can, I have, I will. Matthew's voice remained level. Now you have two choices. Leave quietly with what's left of your dignity, or make this worse. The decision is yours, but you have 30 seconds to make it. For a long moment, Sarah thought Ryan would fight, would attack, would create a scene that would end with police and statements and everything getting so much worse. But then his shoulders sagged. He snatched some of the bills from Matthew's hand. "This isn't over," he said to Sarah. His voice cracked. "You think you can just walk away after everything I've done for you, everything I've forgiven?" Tears appeared in his eyes, real ones, the kind he'd used before to make her feel guilty. "I loved you, Sarah. I really did. But you've made your choice. You've chosen this stranger over me, over us, over the life we were building together." "Ryan." "No," he held up a hand. Just don't. When you realize what you've thrown away, when you come crawling back, don't expect me to be there. Because I won't. We're done. Completely done." He turned and walked toward the exit, each step deliberate, dramatic. At the door, he paused, looked back with profound betrayal on his face, and then he was gone. The restaurant slowly exhaled. Conversations resumed. Silverware clinked. Life continued. But Sarah couldn't move. Her mind was struggling to process what had just happened. 3 years ended in 15 minutes. Her entire life dismantled by a stranger. "Sarah." Matthew's voice was gentle now. "And breathe." She realized she'd been holding her breath, let it out in a shaky exhale. "I'm sorry," she whispered. "I'm so sorry." "Don't apologize. You have nothing to be sorry for." "I should have left sooner. I should have seen." "Don't." Matthew sat down beside her. "Don't make this your fault. Men like Ryan are professionals. They isolate you slowly, make you dependent, cut off your support while making it seem natural. It's strategic, intentional." "How do you know so much about this?" His expression shifted, something dark passing behind his eyes. "Experience." He didn't elaborate. Instead, he pulled out his phone. "Do you have somewhere safe to go tonight?" Reality crashed back. My apartment is under Ryan's lease. My car's at his place. Most of my clothes." She laughed sharp and bitter. "God, I have nothing." "You have your life. That's not nothing." Matthew made a call. "Yes, this is Davis. I need a suite at the Grandview tonight, under my account." "Perfect." He hung up. "You have a room. Tomorrow we'll handle getting your things." "I can't accept." "You can and you will." His tone left no room for argument. "Right now you need safety. Everything else comes second." Sarah looked at the stranger who had just saved her life. Why are you doing this?" Matthew was quiet for a long moment. When he spoke, his voice carried weight. "Old pain, old regret, because someone should have helped someone I loved, and they didn't, and I've lived with that failure every day since." He met her eyes. "So now when I see the situation clearly, I act. It's that simple." It wasn't simple. Nothing about this was simple. But Sarah understood the grief behind those words. The guilt that drives you to save others when you couldn't save the one that mattered. "I'm sorry for your loss," she said softly. "Don't be. Just be safe." He stood, offered his hand. "Come on, let's get you somewhere secure." Sarah took his hand and stood on shaking legs. As they walked toward the exit, she felt every eye in the restaurant on them. Some faces showed concern, others curiosity, but most showed recognition. How many had been where she was? How many had wanted someone to intervene? Outside, a black sedan waited. Matthew opened the door, handed her an envelope. "Cash, for immediate expenses. Don't use credit cards Ryan has access to." "I'll pay you back." "Not necessary." He smiled slightly. "Consider it an investment in your future." Sarah hesitated at the car door. "What if he comes back? What if he doesn't scare as easily as you think?" Matthew's smile went cold. "Then he'll learn an expensive lesson about choosing his enemies wisely." He stepped back. "Go. Call your sister from the hotel. Tell no one where you are. Tomorrow we'll start rebuilding." Sarah slid into the car. As they pulled away, she looked back and saw Matthew still standing there, watching until they disappeared around the corner. Only then did she let herself cry. Not from fear or sadness, but from something else entirely. Relief. For the first time in 3 years, she was free. The Grandview's lobby was all marble and gold, the kind of place Sarah had only seen in magazines. The doorman opened the car door and she stepped out on legs that didn't feel quite real. Everything felt distant, wrapped in cotton, like she was watching herself from somewhere far away. Miss, the driver handed her the envelope Matthew had given her. Mr. Davis said to give this directly to you. She took it with numb fingers. Thank you. Inside, the night clerk barely glanced at her tear-stained face. Ms. Bennett, welcome to the Grandview. Mr. Davis has arranged the executive suite on the 14th floor. He slid a keycard across the counter. If you need anything at all, please don't hesitate to call the concierge. Sarah nodded, unable to form words. She took the key and walked toward the elevators, each step feeling like she was walking through water. The elevator doors closed and she sagged against the wall, finally alone. Her phone buzzed in her purse. She pulled it out with shaking hands. 17 missed calls from Ryan, 23 text messages. She scrolled through them, watching his emotional arc play out in real time. Sarah, please answer. I'm sorry, baby. I didn't mean it. You know how I get when I'm stressed, Sarah. This isn't funny. Answer your phone. Where are you? Where the fuck are you? You're making a huge mistake. That guy is probably a psycho. Did you think about that? He probably wants to hurt you. I'm the only one who really loves you. Please come home. I need you, Sarah. I swear to God, if you don't answer, the elevator dinged. 14th floor. Sarah stepped out and found her room hands shaking so badly, it took 3 tries to get the keycard to work. The suite was bigger than her and Ryan's entire apartment. Floor-to-ceiling windows overlooked the city lights spreading out like fallen stars. A king bed with pristine white linens. A sitting area with a couch that probably cost more than her car. Sarah walked to the center of the room and stopped. Just stopped. And then the reality of what she'd done hit her all at once. She'd left Ryan, she'd actually done it. After 3 years of trying and failing, of leaving and going back, of promising herself next time would be different, she'd finally walked away. With the help of a stranger. A man she didn't know. A man who might be dangerous himself for all she knew. Oh God, she whispered. Oh God, what did I do? Her phone rang. Ryan, again. Her thumb hovered over the answer button. Part of her, the part that had been trained over 3 years to respond to his calls, to soothe his anger, to manage his emotions, wanted to answer. Wanted to explain. Wanted to make this better. But Matthew's voice echoed in her head. Turn it off. He can track you through it. Sarah powered down the phone and threw it on the couch like it was burning her. The silence that followed was deafening. She walked to the windows, pressed her forehead against the cool glass, and let herself cry. Really cry, the kind of crying that came from somewhere deep and old, grief mixed with relief, mixed with terror. She cried for the 3 years she'd lost, for the woman she used to be before Ryan, for all the times she'd told herself it wasn't that bad, he didn't mean it, he loved her really. She cried until she had nothing left. Then she went to the bathroom, splashed cold water on her face, and looked at herself in the mirror. Her mascara had run, leaving dark tracks down her cheeks. Her eyes were swollen and red. The carefully applied makeup from this morning, God was it only this morning, was destroyed. But underneath the mess, she saw something she hadn't seen in a long time. Herself. The phone in the room rang, making her jump. She stared at it for 3 rings before picking up. Hello, Sarah, it's Matthew. Relief flooded through her. How did you? I wanted to make sure you arrived safely. His voice was calm, steady, an anchor. Have you called your sister? Not yet. I don't know what to say. Tell her you're safe. Tell her you left Ryan. Tell her not to tell anyone where you are. He paused. Can you do that? Sarah nodded, then realized he couldn't see her. Yes. Good, do it now. I'll call back in 15 minutes. He hung up before she could respond. Sarah sat on the edge of the bed and dialed her sister's number with the room phone. Jessica answered on the second ring. Hello, Jess. It's me. Sarah, why are you calling from a hotel? Is everything? I left him. The words came out in a rush. I left Ryan tonight. I'm at a hotel and I'm safe, but I need you to promise me you won't tell anyone where I am. Not Mom, not Dad, not Ryan's friends, not anyone. Can you promise me that? Silence. Then, oh, thank God. Sarah blinked. What? Thank God you finally left. Jessica's voice cracked. Sarah, I've been waiting 3 years for you to make that call. 3 years of watching him destroy you piece by piece. Every time I tried to say something, you defended him. Every time I suggested you leave, you made excuses. I thought, I thought I'd lost you. Tears started again. Jess, where are you? I'm coming to get you. No, no, you can't. You have the baby and it's late and Ryan might... Sarah stopped. He might do something crazy. Let him try. Jessica's voice turned hard. I'll call the police so fast. Please, just give me tonight. Tomorrow we'll talk okay, but tonight I need to be alone and process this. Sarah, please, Jess. Her sister sighed. Okay, but you call me first thing in the morning, and I mean first thing. If I don't hear from you by 8 a.m., I'm calling the police myself. I will. I promise. I love you, little sister, and I'm so proud of you. The words broke something in Sarah. I love you too. She hung up and sat in the silence, Jessica's words echoing. I'm so proud of you. When was the last time someone had said that? When was the last time she'd done something worth being proud of? The room phone rang again, exactly 15 minutes later. Matthew, how did the call go? Good, she's happy I left. Of course she is. People who love you have been watching this happen, waiting for you to see what they see. He paused. Now practical matters. Tomorrow morning we need to get your things from Ryan's apartment. Do you have a key? Yes, but you're afraid he'll be there. He will be. He works from home on Sundays. He'll be waiting. Then we'll go when he's not there. Does he have any appointments? Anywhere he has to be, Sarah thought. His gym. He goes every Sunday at 10. He's usually gone for 2 hours. Perfect. We'll go at 10:15. In and out in 30 minutes. Sarah's voice rose. You're coming with me. Did you think I'd send you alone? But why are you doing all this? You don't know me. You don't owe me anything. Matthew was quiet for a long moment. Do you want the professional answer or the real one? The real one. Because 7 years ago, I didn't help someone who needed it. I saw the signs. I knew what was happening. But I told myself it wasn't my business. That she was an adult and could make her own choices. That if she really wanted help, she'd ask for it. His voice went rough. 3 months later, she was dead. Her boyfriend beat her so badly that she never woke up. And I've carried that with me every single day since. Sarah's breath caught. Matthew, I'm so sorry. Don't be sorry. Be alive. Be safe. Be someone who breaks the pattern. He cleared his throat. Now, get some sleep. I'll pick you up tomorrow at 9:30. We'll get your things, get you a new phone, and start figuring out your next steps. Understood? Understood. And Sarah, if Ryan contacts you tonight, if he shows up somehow, you call hotel security immediately. Then you call me. My number's on the card I gave you. Okay. Good night. Matthew. She caught him before he could hang up. Thank you for everything. You already thanked me. I know, but I need to say it again. You saved my life tonight. No, he said quietly. You saved your own life. I just provided the push. He hung up. Sarah sat holding the phone for a long moment before replacing it in the cradle. She should sleep. She was exhausted, emotionally wrung out, barely able to think straight. But every time she closed her eyes, she saw Ryan's face, heard his voice, felt his hands on her wrist. You're dead when we get home. The threat played on repeat. What would have happened if Matthew hadn't intervened? Would Ryan have followed through? Would it have been another hole in the wall or something worse? Sarah got up and checked the door lock 3 times. Checked the windows even though she was 14 floors up. Checked the bathroom, the closet under the bed. Anywhere someone could hide, she was being paranoid. Ryan didn't know where she was. Couldn't know. But what if he did? What if he'd followed the car? What if he was downstairs right now, charming the desk clerk, finding out her room number? Stop. She forced herself to breathe. You're safe. The door is locked. Matthew knows where you are. Jessica knows you're okay. You're safe. She turned on the TV for noise volume low. Some late-night talk show. The host was laughing at something, the audience applauding. Normal life. The world where people laughed and clapped and didn't live in fear. Sarah lay on top of the covers fully clothed and watched the ceiling. Sleep felt impossible. But gradually exhaustion won. Her eyes grew heavy. The sounds from the TV faded. She woke to pounding. Her eyes shot open, heart hammering. The TV was still on infomercials now, someone selling kitchen gadgets. The windows showed darkness outside. The clock on the nightstand read 3:47 a.m. The pounding came again. At her door, Sarah opened the door. Ryan. She sat bolt upright, every muscle frozen. How did he find her? I know you're in there. The clerk told me. His voice was muffled through the door, but clear enough. Sarah, please. Please, baby. I just want to talk. She couldn't move, couldn't breathe. This wasn't happening. This couldn't be happening. I'm sorry about tonight. I'm sorry about everything, but that guy Matthew, he's dangerous, Sarah. I did some research. He's not who you think he is. Pause. Please, just open the door. 5 minutes, that's all I'm asking. Sarah's hand moved toward the phone. Security. She should call security. I love you, Ryan said through the door. His voice broke. I love you so much, and I can't lose you. You're everything to me. Everything. Without you, I'm nothing. Do you understand? Nothing. The guilt hit like a wave. This was her fault. She'd driven him to this. Made him desperate. Made him know. Sarah grabbed the phone and dialed 0. Front desk, how may I? There's a man at my door, Sarah whispered. Room 1447. He's trying to get in. I don't feel safe. We'll send security immediately, ma'am. Sarah, Ryan's voice changed. Sarah, are you calling security? Don't do that. Don't. You're making me look crazy. I'm just trying to talk to my fiancé. Sir, you need to leave the floor immediately. A new voice, male, authoritative. Hotel security. Step away from the door. I'm her fiancé. I have a right. You have no rights here, sir. Leave now or we're calling the police. She's my... Now, sir. Silence, then footsteps moving away. Sarah sat frozen, the phone still in her hand. Ma'am, to the hotel operator. Security has escorted the individual from your floor. We've also flagged him in our system. He won't be able to access the building again. Are you all right? Yes, Sarah whispered. Thank you. Would you like us to contact the police? Should she? What would happen if she did? Ryan would be arrested. There would be a report. His parents would find out. His job might be affected. And part of her, the part that still remembered loving him, didn't want to destroy his life. But he'd found her, tracked her down in the middle of the night, tried to force his way into her room. Yes, she heard herself say, please call them. Right away, ma'am. Sarah hung up and immediately called Matthew's number from the card he'd given her. He answered on the first ring. Sarah, he found me. The words tumbled out. Ryan, he was at my door. He knew my room number. The clerk must have told him. Hotel security kicked him out and I called the police, but what if he comes back? What if... Breathe, Matthew said calmly. You're safe. Security's handling it. The police are coming. He can't get to you. But he found me. Because he bribed a desk clerk. That's fixed now. Are you hurt? No. Did he get in the room? No. Then you're okay. You did everything right. His voice was steady, grounding. I'm on my way. 20 minutes. You don't have to. 20 minutes. He hung up. Sarah sat on the edge of the bed, trembling. The police arrived first, 2 officers, 1 male, 1 female. They asked questions, took notes, spoke into their radios. The female officer sat beside Sarah. Has your boyfriend been violent with you before? Fiancé, ex-fiancé, and not physically. Not really. Not really. Sarah showed her wrist, the bruises from dinner. He grabbed me tonight at a restaurant. That's when I decided to leave. The officer took photos. Any other incidents? He punched a wall once, broke things, yelled, but never actually hit me. Yet, the officer said quietly, Ms. Bennett, in my experience, this kind of escalation doesn't stop. He tracked you down in the middle of the night, tried to force entry to your room. That's stalking behavior. We can help you file a restraining order. Sarah's mind spun. I need to think about it. Don't think too long. Men like this, when they feel control slipping away, they get desperate. Desperate men do desperate things. Matthew arrived as the police were leaving. He spoke to them in the hallway. Sarah could hear low voices, but couldn't make out words. Then he entered her room and the look on his face made her stomach drop. What did they tell you? She asked. that Ryan made a scene in the lobby, threatened the staff, said he had a right to see his fiancée. Matthew's jaw was tight. They've banned him from the property, but Sarah, we need to talk about safety measures. I know, the restraining order will take days to process and it's just paper. It won't stop him if he's determined. Matthew sat across from her. I think you need to disappear for a while. Disappear, I have a job, a life. Do you have a job Ryan knows about at a building he can access with a schedule he's memorized? Matthew leaned forward. Sarah, I've seen this before. He's going to escalate. Tomorrow he'll be at your work, then your sister's place, then anywhere he thinks you might go. You need to be somewhere he can't find you. I can't just leave the city. Why not? My job, my apartment, which is Ryan's apartment, She trailed off. I don't have anything keeping me here, do I? Not that can't be replaced. Matthew pulled out his phone. I have a property upstate, a cabin, remote secure, no one knows about it except me. You could stay there for a few weeks while we sort out the legal issues. Get your head straight, figure out your next move. A cabin in the woods with a man I just met. Sarah laughed without humor. That sounds like the start of a horror movie. Fair point. Matthew pulled out his wallet and handed her several cards. My driver's license, business license, credit cards, all have my full name and address. Call anyone on my contact list, they'll vouch for me. Hell, call the police and run a background check. I'll wait. Sarah looked at the card spread in front of her. Matthew Davis, age 42, address in the city's wealthiest district, business license for Davis Security Consultants. You're a security consultant. Among other things, I help people with problems that require discretion. What kind of problems? The kind where traditional solutions don't work. He met her eyes. Sarah, I'm not going to lie to you. My work isn't always legal. I don't hurt people who don't deserve it, but I've done things that would shock you. Things that help people like you escape situations like this. And I'm offering to help you because I can. Because I have resources and skills that normal people don't. But if that makes you uncomfortable, I'll arrange for you to stay with a women's shelter instead. Your choice. Sarah's mind raced. A cabin with a stranger who admitted to doing illegal things. Or a shelter where Ryan could potentially find her. The cabin, she said. I'll go to the cabin. Matthew nodded. We'll leave tomorrow after we get your things. Pack light. You won't need much. After he left, Sarah lay back down, but sleep was impossible. Her mind kept spinning. What had she agreed to? Was she trading one dangerous man for another? But something in her gut said Matthew was different, that his danger wasn't directed at her. She hoped her gut was right, because if it wasn't, she just made the worst decision of her life. Morning came too quickly. Sarah woke to sunlight slicing through the curtains and her phone the burner Matthew had sent up at dawn with hotel staff buzzing on the nightstand. Ready in 30. Wear something you can move in. M. She showered fast, scrubbing off yesterday's makeup in fear. Her reflection looked different, paler, thinner, but her eyes were clearer than they'd been in months. No more pretending, no more excuses. She dressed in jeans and a t-shirt, pulled her hair into a ponytail, and was waiting in the lobby when Matthew arrived at exactly 9:30. Sleep at all, he asked. Not really. Sarah clutched the burner phone. I keep thinking about what we're about to do. Second thoughts. Third, fourth, maybe 100th. She looked at him. But I'm still going. Good. Matthew handed her a coffee. Drink this. You'll need the caffeine. They drove in silence for the first 10 minutes. Sarah watched the city pass by familiar streets that suddenly felt foreign. How many times had she driven this route with Ryan? How many times had she told herself things would get better? You're quiet, Matthew said. I'm scared. Smart. Fear keeps you sharp. He took a turn. But remember, we're in and out. 30 minutes maximum. You grab essentials. Closed documents, medications, anything irreplaceable. Everything else can be replaced. What if he's there? He won't be. I had someone confirm he left for the gym at 9:47. He's on his normal schedule. Sarah turned to stare at him. You had someone watching him. Since last night, after he showed up at your hotel. Matthew's voice was matter-of-fact. Did you think I'd just hope he followed his routine? Who are you? The question came out sharper than intended. Really, because security consultants don't usually have people doing surveillance on random abusive boyfriends. Matthew's jaw tightened. No, they don't. So what aren't you telling me? He was quiet for a long moment. Then, what do you know about organized crime? Sarah's stomach dropped. Are you? I'm not in the mob if that's what you're asking, but I work adjacent to that world. I solve problems for people who can't go to the police. Sometimes those people are victims like you. Sometimes they're people who exist outside the law. He glanced at her. I don't hurt innocent people, Sarah, but I'm not a good guy in the traditional sense either. Why are you telling me this? Because you asked. And because if we're going to do this, if you're going to trust me, you deserve to know who I am. Sarah processed this. The cabin, is it a safe house? Among other things. For criminals. For people who need to disappear. Matthew pulled into a parking garage 2 blocks from Ryan's apartment. Now, decision time, you still want to do this. Every instinct screamed, run, get away from this man who casually admitted to working with criminals. But those same instincts had kept her with Ryan for 3 years. Maybe it was time to stop trusting her fear. Yes, she said, let's go. They walked the 2 blocks quickly. Sarah's heart hammered with each step. The apartment building loomed ahead, brick and glass, upscale, but not ostentatious. Ryan had been so proud when he'd signed the lease, had shown her around like he was presenting her with a palace. Now it looked like a prison she was breaking out of. Matthew held the door for her. They rode the elevator to the 4th floor in silence. Sarah's hands were shaking so badly she had to try 3 times to get her key in the lock. Breathe, Matthew said quietly behind her. The door swung open. Sarah stepped inside and immediately wanted to leave. Ryan's cologne hung in the air, his jacket on the chair, his shoes by the door, evidence of him everywhere. 30 minutes, Matthew reminded her. Start with documents. Sarah moved to the bedroom, pulled out the drawer where she kept her passport, birth certificate, social security card. Everything was there except my passport's gone. Matthew appeared in the doorway. What? My passport. It was here last week. Now it's gone. She rifled through the drawer again. Ryan must have taken it. Where else would he keep it? His safe in the closet. Sarah pointed, but I don't know the combination. Matthew walked to the closet, examined the safe. Step back. You can't just... He pulled out a small device, attached it to the keypad. Numbers cycled rapidly. 30 seconds later, the safe clicked open. How did you... Don't ask questions you don't want answers to. Matthew pulled out the contents. Passport? Check. What else? Sarah looked at the pile. Her passport, but also a stack of photographs. Of her, at work, at the coffee shop, at her sister's house. Dozens of them taken without her knowledge. Oh my God, she whispered. There's more. Matthew held up a folder. Bank statements from accounts you don't know about, in your name. Sarah grabbed the folder. 3 different accounts each with balances in the tens of thousands. Withdrawals and deposits she'd never made. I don't understand. I didn't open these. Identity theft. He's been using your information to move money. Matthew's expression was grim. This is fraud, Sarah. Serious fraud. But why would he... Then it clicked. The money, he said he was paying the deposit on the new apartment. But he's 3 months behind on rent here. He's broke, or close to it, and he's been using your credit to stay afloat. Sarah felt sick. What else is in there? Matthew pulled out more folders. Credit card statements for cards she'd never applied for. Loan documents with her forged signature. And at the bottom, a small black book filled with handwritten notes. Sarah flipped through it. Dates, hymns, locations. A log of everywhere she'd been for the past 6 months. He's been tracking me, she said numbly. This whole time, every day. Since before you even knew you were being tracked. Matthew took the book. This is evidence. Keep it. Sarah's phone, the burner buzzed. A text from an unknown number. You have something that belongs to me. Her blood went cold. Matthew. He looked at the screen and his expression hardened. He's not at the gym. How is he texting me? This is a new number. Because he's watching the apartment. Has been this whole time. Matthew moved to the window, looked out carefully. Black BMW across the street. See it? Sarah looked. Ryan's car. Her knees went weak. He saw us come in, she whispered. Probably. Matthew was already moving. Change of plans. Grab what you can in the next 2 minutes. We're leaving. But the rest of my things are things. Your safety isn't. He pulled out his own phone, sent a rapid text. Cars coming around back. Kitchen window access. Fire escape. Perfect. Move. Sarah ran to the bedroom, grabbed clothes with shaking hands, stuffed them in a duffel bag Ryan had bought for a trip they never took. Her hands moved on autopilot underwear, jeans, shirts, the necklace her mother gave her. Another text, come down and talk to me, or I'm coming up. Matthew, Sarah's voice cracked. I see it. Keep packing. But his hand went to his jacket. Sarah saw the outline of something heavy. A gun. You brought a gun. I always have a gun. He didn't look at her. 30 seconds. Anything you can't live without, grab it now. Sarah swept her dresser, jewelry, photos, her laptop, into the bag, then to the bathroom, medications, birth control, the expensive face cream she'd saved for. A crash from the living room. Sarah ran out to find Matthew blocking the door, his body a wall between her and Ryan's fist pounding the other side. Sarah, I know you're in there. Ryan's voice was raw. Open this fucking door. We're leaving, Matthew said calmly. Kitchen, now. But Ryan had stopped pounding. The silence was worse. Then I'm calling the police. You're trespassing. Both of you. Let him, Matthew said. We'll be gone before they arrive. I'll tell them you broke into my safe, stole my property. Your property, Matthew's voice could have cut glass. The forged documents, the evidence of fraud, please call them. I'll wait. Silence. Then the doorknob rattled. Ryan had a key, of course he did, but the deadbolt was engaged. Sarah, please. His voice changed, soft now, broken. Please, baby, I just want to talk. I love you. I made mistakes, but we can fix this. We can fix everything. Just open the door, please. Sarah felt the pull, the old familiar pull of his voice when it went soft like that. When he needed her, when he made her feel like the only person in the world who could save him. Don't, Matthew said quietly. Don't listen to it. I'm not. You are. I can see it in your face. He turned to look at her. He's manipulating you, like he always does. Don't let him. You don't know him like I do. I know him better than you do, because I see him clearly. You see him through 3 years of conditioning. Matthew gestured to the door. That man tracked your every movement, stole your identity, committed fraud in your name. And you're standing here wondering if you should give him a chance to explain. Sarah's face burned. I'm not. Yes, you are. And that's okay. That's what abuse does. But you need to fight it right now. Make the choice. The door rattled again. Sarah, I can hear you talking. Who is that? Is that Matthew? Is he in my apartment with my fiancée? Ryan's voice rose. Sarah, if you're sleeping with him, if you've been cheating on me. I just met him yesterday, Sarah shouted before she could stop herself. Wrong move. Ryan went silent. Then yesterday you met some random guy, and now you're leaving me for him, running away with a stranger. Jesus Christ. Sarah, do you hear yourself? Do you hear how insane that sounds? More insane than stalking her, Matthew called back. More insane than stealing her identity. More insane than keeping a book logging her every movement. You went through my things. You broke into my safe. That's illegal. So is fraud. So is stalking. So is assault. Matthew's voice was steel. And I have evidence of all three, plus witnesses from the restaurant, plus hotel security footage. So here's what's going to happen. You're going to back away from that door. You're going to leave this building and you're going to never contact Sarah again. Because if you do, all of this goes to the police and your life as you know it ends. You can't threaten me. I just did. Now move. For a long moment, nothing happened. Then footsteps, moving away from the door. Sarah sagged against the counter. Is he gone? For now. Matthew checked his phone. Car's out back. We need to move. They went out the kitchen window onto the fire escape. Sarah's legs felt like water as she climbed down the metal cold under her hands. Matthew went first, testing each step, making sure it was safe. At the bottom, a sleek black car waited, engine running. A woman sat in the driver's seat, mid-30s, with sharp eyes and a sharper expression. Boss, she said as Matthew opened the door. Elena, thank you for this. He gave you trouble. Elena's eyes flicked to Sarah. Nothing I couldn't handle. Matthew helped Sarah into the back seat, threw her duffel in after her. But we need to move. He's still in the building. On it! Elena pulled out before Matthew's door was fully closed. Sarah looked back and saw Ryan burst out of the front entrance running for his car. He's following us. Let him try. Elena took a turn so sharp Sarah had to grab the door handle. I've been driving getaways since before he learned to tie his shoes. Getaways, Sarah's voice pitched up. What? Don't ask, Matthew said. Just trust that Elena knows what she's doing. Another turn, then another. Sarah lost track of the streets. Elena drove like she was in a movie chase scene, fast but controlled, aggressive but precise. Within 5 minutes, Ryan's BMW was nowhere in sight. Lost him at the warehouse district, Elena said. He'll be circling for 20 minutes before he figures out we're gone. Good work. Matthew pulled out cash, handed it to her. For your trouble. Anytime, boss. Elena pulled up to a different parking garage. Your car's on level 3, space 47. Keys under the mat. Perfect. Matthew turned to Sarah. You okay? She wasn't okay. She was so far from okay she couldn't even see it from here. But she nodded anyway. They switched cars, a nondescript gray sedan that could blend into any traffic. Matthew drove this time steady and sure. Sarah sat in the passenger seat, clutching her duffel like a lifeline. Who was that woman? She finally asked. Someone who works for me. Doing what? Whatever needs doing. Matthew merged onto the highway. We're heading north. The cabin's about 3 hours away. You should try to sleep. I can't sleep. Ryan, he had all those accounts in my name. Those photographs, that book. Sarah's hands were shaking again. He was planning something. Something worse than just controlling me. I know. You know, what do you mean you know? Matthew's jaw tightened. The fraud scheme, it's not random. It's systematic. He's been building a financial identity for you that he controls, which means when he was ready, he could disappear you. The words hit like ice water. Disappear me. Clean you out financially, make it look like you ran away, left dead in your wake. You'd be ruined, possibly arrested if the fraud was discovered. And Ryan would play the victim, the poor fiancé, whose unstable girlfriend destroyed both their lives before vanishing. Sarah felt like she couldn't breathe. That's insane. That's calculated. The man you loved didn't exist, Sarah. He was a construct, a performance designed to trap you. Matthew glanced at her. I've seen it before. These men, they don't just want control. They want complete ownership. Financial, emotional, social. They want to make you so dependent that leaving becomes impossible. And if you try anyway, he destroys you. Or worse. Sarah thought about the woman Matthew had mentioned last night, the one who died. Your friend, the one who was killed. Was it like this? Matthew's hands tightened on the wheel. Similar. Her boyfriend isolated her, controlled her money, her friends, her family. By the time we realized how bad it was, she was too scared to leave. And then one night he went too far. His voice went flat. She died in the hospital 3 days later. He served 18 months. Out in 14 for good behavior. That's it, 14 months for murder. Manslaughter. His lawyer argued it was an accident, a tragic loss of control. The jury bought it. Matthew's expression was carved from stone. He's dead now, though. The way he said it made Sarah's blood run cold. You killed him. I didn't say that. You didn't have to. Matthew was quiet for a moment. Then justice and the law aren't always the same thing. Sometimes people need to make their own justice. That's vigilante talk. That's survival talk. For the people who can't rely on the system to protect them. He looked at her. I'm not asking you to approve, but I'm telling you the truth. The man who killed Elena, yes, that was her name too. He's dead, and I don't lose sleep over it. Sarah should be horrified, should demand he take her back, should run from this man who casually admitted to murder. But all she felt was a strange sense of safety. Because Matthew wasn't just talk, he was action, results, protection. I don't know how to feel about this, she admitted. You don't have to feel anything yet. Just focus on staying alive and getting clear. He took an exit. We'll stop for food soon. You need to eat. They pulled into a diner off the highway. Sarah realized she hadn't eaten since dinner last night, the dinner that had ended with Matthew intervening. Her stomach was hollow, her head light. Inside, Matthew ordered for both of them. Coffee, eggs, toast. Simple food. Sarah pushed it around her plate. You need to eat, Matthew said. I know, She looked at him. Why me of all the people in that restaurant, all the situations you must see? Why did you help me? Because I could, because I was there, because you reminded me of her. He drank his coffee. And because I saw you weren't ready to give up. You were scared, yes. Beaten down, absolutely. But there was still fight in you. I could see it. I don't feel very strong. Strength isn't about how you feel. It's about what you do despite how you feel. He pushed her plate toward her. Eat. You'll need your strength for what comes next. What comes next? Healing, planning, rebuilding, and making sure Ryan never touches you again. Sarah took a bite of toast. It tasted like cardboard, but she forced it down. Then another bite, and another. Her phone buzzed. The burner. Another text from Ryan. You can't run forever. Matthew saw it, took the phone, typed a response. Watch me. Then he powered it down and removed the battery. New phone when we get to the cabin. New number. New email. New everything. I can't just disappear. Yes, you can. People do it every day. And right now, disappearing is the only way to stay safe. He paid the check, left cash. Come on, 2 more hours. They drove through increasingly rural areas. Trees replaced buildings. Silence replaced city noise. Sarah watched the world change outside her window and felt herself changing with it. Who was she without Ryan? Without the job she'd taken to be close to him? Without the apartment in his name? The friends in his circle? The life he'd constructed around her? She didn't know. But maybe that was okay. Maybe not knowing was the first step to figuring it out. Matthew, she said as they turned onto a dirt road, when we get to the cabin, what happens then? Then you breathe, you process, you heal. And when you're ready, we figure out your next move. And Ryan, Matthew's smile was cold. Ryan becomes a problem that solves itself one way or another. The cabin appeared through the trees, small but solid wood and stone with smoke rising from the chimney. Someone had prepared it for their arrival. Who else is here? Sarah asked. No one, but I had supplies delivered this morning. Food, firewood, basics. Matthew parked. This is a safe place, Sarah. No one knows about it except people I trust with my life. You can rest here. Sarah looked at the cabin, then at Matthew. How long? As long as you need. She grabbed her duffel and stepped out of the car. The air was clean and cold, nothing like the city. She could hear birds, wind in the trees, nothing else. For the first time in 3 years, she felt like she could breathe. Inside the cabin was warm. A fire crackled in the stone fireplace. Someone had stocked the kitchen. Sarah could see food through the open doorway. Bread, eggs, coffee. Real preparation, not just thrown together. How did you arrange all this so fast? She asked. I made a call last night, after Ryan showed up at your hotel. Matthew set her duffel on a chair. I knew we'd need a place. You knew we'd end up here, before I even agreed. I planned for the possibility. He opened the fridge, pulled out water bottles, handed her one. Bedrooms through there, bathroom attached, fresh towels, toiletries, everything you need. Sarah twisted the cap off the water, drank half in one go. She hadn't realized how thirsty she was. And you? Where will you sleep? Couch out here. I'm a light sleeper. Anyone comes up that road, I'll know. You're staying. For tonight, yes. Tomorrow I'll head back to the city, handle some things. But you'll be safe here, I promise. Sarah wanted to argue, wanted to say she didn't need a protector, but the truth was she did, at least for now, at least until she figured out how to protect herself. Thank you, she said quietly. Matthew nodded and moved to the kitchen, started making coffee. Sarah stood there, suddenly unsure what to do with herself. For 3 years, every moment had been scheduled, managed, controlled by Ryan's needs and moods. Now, with nothing but time and space, she felt untethered. You should rest, Matthew said without turning around. I'm not tired. You're exhausted. I can see it from here. He poured 2 cups of coffee, brought one to her. But if you can't sleep, at least sit. Breathe. Let your body catch up to what just happened. Sarah took the coffee and sank onto the couch. It was old but comfortable worn leather that smelled like wood smoke. She curled into the corner and felt something inside her crack. The tears came without warning, silent at first, then building into sobs that shook her whole body. 3 years of holding it together, of pretending everything was fine, of managing Ryan's emotions while bearing her own, it all came pouring out at once. Matthew didn't try to stop her, didn't tell her it would be okay or offer empty comfort. He just sat in the chair across from her and waited. When the crying finally subsided, Sarah's throat was raw and her eyes swollen. I'm sorry. Don't apologize for feeling. I don't know why I'm crying. I should be happy. I got away. I'm safe. You're grieving for the life you thought you had, for the person you thought Ryan was, for 3 years you can't get back. Matthew leaned forward. That's normal. Necessary even. How long does it last, the grieving? As long as it needs to. He drank his coffee. But eventually you'll wake up one morning and realize you've gone an hour without thinking about him. Then a day. Then a week. And one day he'll just be someone you used to know. Sarah wanted to believe that. Your friend, Elena, did she? Yes, she healed eventually. His voice went soft. But it took time and help and accepting that what happened to her wasn't her fault. Was it hard accepting that? The hardest thing she ever did. Matthew's eyes met hers. She blamed herself for years, for staying, for not seeing the signs sooner, for loving him in the first place. But blame is just another cage, Sarah. Don't trade Ryan's cage for one you build yourself. The words hit deep. Sarah wrapped her hands around the warm mug and thought about all the times she'd told herself this was her fault, that if she'd just been better, smarter, more careful, Ryan wouldn't have been so angry, so controlling, so cruel. I keep thinking about all the red flags I missed, she admitted. The first time he checked my phone, the first time he asked me not to see my friends, the first time he got angry over nothing. I should have left then. Maybe, but you didn't, and beating yourself up about it won't change the past. Matthew stood, walked to the fire, added another log. What matters is you're leaving now. That takes more courage than most people have. A phone rang. Not Sarah's burner, a different sound. Matthew pulled a second phone from his pocket, checked the screen, and his expression hardened. I need to take this. He stepped outside, closing the door behind him. Sarah sat in the sudden silence, straining to hear. Matthew's voice was too low to make out words, but his tone was sharp, angry. She'd never heard him angry before. When he came back in 5 minutes later, his face was carefully neutral. Too neutral. What's wrong? Sarah asked. Nothing you need to worry about. Matthew, it's handled. Was it about Ryan? He hesitated just for a second, but Sarah caught it. No, business issue, unrelated. He was lying. Sarah could feel it. But before she could push her own phone, the burner rang. She'd powered it back on without thinking. Jessica's number. Jess, Sarah answered. Oh, thank God. Her sister's voice was shaking. Sarah, he's been here. Ryan, he came to my apartment looking for you. Sarah's blood went cold, and then 20 minutes ago, he pounded on the door screaming your name, said he knew you'd come to me, that I was hiding you. Jessica's baby started crying in the background. I didn't open the door. I called the police. But Sarah, he knows. He knows you left and he's looking for you. Did the police come? Yes, but by the time they got here, he was gone. They took a report but said there's nothing they can do unless he actually threatens me or breaks in. Jess, I'm so sorry. Don't apologize. Just tell me you're somewhere safe. Sarah looked at Matthew, who was listening with a grim expression. I'm safe. I'm out of the city. Somewhere he can't find me. Good. Stay there. Don't tell me where. I don't want to know. Jessica took a shaky breath. Sarah, I've never seen him like this. He was manic, desperate, kept saying you'd ruined everything, that you'd pay for what you did. What I did, Sarah's voice rose. I didn't do anything except leave. I know, but he's not rational right now. Promise me you'll stay hidden, please. I promise. Sarah's hand tightened on the phone. Are you okay? Is the baby okay? We're fine, shaken up but fine. I'm going to Mom and Dad's for a few days, just until this blows over. Tell them I'm safe, but don't tell them where I am. I won't. I love you, little sister. I love you too. Sarah ended the call and looked at Matthew. He's escalating. I heard. Matthew was already on his phone texting rapid fire. I'm having someone watch your sister's building and your parents' house. If Ryan shows up again, we'll know. We can't keep running from him forever. We're not running, we're strategizing. Matthew sat down across from her, Sarah, men like Ryan, when they lose control, they become unpredictable, dangerous. The next 48 hours are critical. This is when he's most likely to do something stupid. Like what? Like try to find you. Like hurt the people you love to draw you out. Like he stopped. Like what, Matthew? Like hurt himself, make it your fault, force you to come back. Sarah hadn't considered that. The thought made her sick. You think I think he'd do whatever it takes to regain control, whether that's threats, violence, or playing the victim. Matthew leaned back, which is why you need to stay here. Stay hidden. Let me handle the outside world for a few days. I can't just hide. Yes, you can, and you will, because your safety is more important than anything else right now. Sarah wanted to argue, but she was so tired. Tired of fighting. Tired of being scared. Tired of trying to manage Ryan's chaos. Okay, she whispered. Okay. Matthew nodded and stood. I'm going to make food. You're going to eat. Then you're going to sleep. Doctor's orders. You're not a doctor. No, but I've been through enough trauma to know what helps. He moved to the kitchen, started pulling out ingredients. Scrambled eggs okay? Perfect. While Matthew cooked, Sarah's mind wandered. She thought about Jessica scared in her apartment with a newborn, about her parents who still thought Ryan was a great guy, about her job where she'd have to call in tomorrow and explain, what? That she'd left her abusive fiancé and couldn't come back because he might be stalking the building. Your job, Matthew said, reading her mind, you need to quit. I can't just quit. Yes, you can. Email your resignation tonight. Effective immediately. Ryan knows where you work. He'll go there looking for you. But I need the money. I'll cover your expenses until you find something new. He cracked eggs into a pan. This isn't charity, Sarah. This is survival. Your old life is contaminated, every part of it. You need to cut it all away and start fresh. The words should have scared her. Instead, they felt like permission. Permission to let go of the job she'd hated, the apartment that was never hers, the life that had been suffocating her for years. Okay, she said again. I'll send the email. Matthew brought her a plate, eggs, toast, fruit, simple food that tasted better than anything she'd had in months. They ate in silence, Sarah's mind spinning with everything she needed to do. Email work, contact the bank about the fraudulent accounts, file a police report, get a lawyer. One thing at a time, Matthew said. Tomorrow. Tonight you rest. After dinner, Sarah retreated to the bedroom. It was small but clean with a real bed and soft blankets. She unpacked her duffel, hanging up the few clothes she'd grabbed. Her hands trembled as she touched Ryan's credit card, the one he'd given her for emergencies. She should cut it up, throw it away. But some part of her couldn't let go of that last connection. She placed it on the nightstand and climbed into bed fully clothed. Sleep felt impossible, but the moment her head hit the pillow, exhaustion pulled her under. She woke to voices, male voices, low and intense. Sarah sat up, heart pounding. The room was dark. She'd slept through the afternoon and into evening. Through the closed door, she could hear Matthew and someone else. Told you not to come here, Matthew was saying. I needed to see for myself. The other voice was unfamiliar, older, rougher. Is she really worth all this trouble? That's not your concern. It is when you're using my resources, my safe house, my people. Sarah crept to the door, pressed her ear against it. I'll pay you back, Matthew said coldly. This isn't about money. This is about risk. You're making moves that could expose. I'm handling it. Are you? Because from where I'm standing, you're getting emotionally involved. Again. And last time that happened, don't. Matthew's voice could have cut steel. Don't bring her up. Someone has to. You swore after Elena died that you wouldn't do this again. Wouldn't get personally invested. And now here you are playing white knight for some girl you met yesterday. She's not some girl, and this is different. Is it? Or are you just trying to save Elena through her silence? Sarah's heart hammered. Who was this person, and what did he mean about Matthew's past? Get out, Matthew said finally. This conversation is over. Matthew, out now. Footsteps, the front door opening and closing. Then silence again. Sarah waited a full minute before emerging. Matthew stood by the fire staring into the flames. He didn't turn when she entered. How much did you hear? He asked. Enough. Sarah crossed her arms. Who was that? My business partner. Former business partner, probably after tonight. He said you're using his resources, his safe house. This isn't your cabin. It's complicated. Uncomplicated. Sarah's voice was harder than she'd ever heard it. Because right now I'm in the middle of nowhere with a man I don't know in a house that apparently belongs to someone else, and I just heard that you have a pattern of getting emotionally involved. So explain. All I know. Matthew turned to face her. In the firelight, he looked older, tired. You're right. You deserve the truth. Start with Elena, your friend who died. She wasn't just a friend, was she? No. He moved to the couch, sat heavily. She was everything. We grew up together. I loved her before I knew what love was, and I watched her fall for a man who slowly destroyed her. You said you didn't help her. I tried. God, I tried, but she wouldn't listen. Kept saying he loved her, that he just had problems, that she could fix him. Matthew's hands clenched. By the time she agreed to leave, it was too late. He killed her before she could get out. Sarah's anger softened. I'm sorry. After she died, I made a promise that I'd never stand by and watch again, that if I saw someone in that situation, I'd intervene, whatever it took. He looked up at her. I've helped a dozen women leave abusive situations in the past 7 years. Some of them needed money. Some needed protection. Some needed someone killed. The casual way he said it made Sarah's skin crawl. Killed. Yes, the legal system fails victims more often than it protects them. So sometimes justice requires other methods. You're talking about murder. I'm talking about stopping monsters. His voice was flat. The man who killed Elena walked free after 14 months. So I made sure he never hurt anyone again. And I've done the same for 4 other men who were terrorizing women. Men who the police couldn't or wouldn't stop. Sarah backed away. You're a vigilante. I'm a problem solver. Matthew stood. And before you run, before you judge, ask yourself this: if Ryan escalates, if he hurts you or your sister or your parents, what will the police do? Take a report, that issue a restraining order that he'll ignore, or will they wait until he actually kills someone before they act? That doesn't give you the right. I'm not claiming a right. I'm claiming a responsibility to do what others won't, to protect people who can't protect themselves. He moved closer. Sarah, I'm not asking you to approve, but I need you to understand. The world isn't black and white. Sometimes the only way to stop evil is to meet it with equal force. Sarah's mind spun. Everything he was saying was wrong, illegal, immoral. But part of her, a dark, angry part, wondered if he was right, if men like Ryan would ever really face consequences through normal channels. The man who came here, she said, your business partner. Who is he? Someone who provides the resources I use to help people. Money, safe houses, information, muscle when needed. Matthew ran a hand through his hair. We had an agreement. I don't get personally involved. I do the job and move on. But with you, you broke the agreement. Yes. Why? Because you reminded me of her. Because I saw a chance to do it right this time. Because he stopped. Because what? Matthew looked at her, really looked at her, and Sarah saw something in his eyes she hadn't noticed before. Something that made her breath catch. Because from the moment I saw Ryan grab your wrist in that restaurant, I knew I couldn't walk away from you, he said quietly. Even if I should, even if it's dangerous, even if it means burning bridges I've spent years building. The confession hung between them. Sarah didn't know how to respond. This man had killed for her, or for women like her, had risked his professional relationships, had opened his life to her in ways that could destroy him. I don't know what to say, she whispered. You don't have to say anything. I'm not asking for gratitude or forgiveness or a sound outside, a car engine distant but getting closer. Matthew's head snapped toward the door. Did you tell anyone where you were? No, just Jessica, and I didn't give her details. Your phone, the burner, did you power it on? Sarah's stomach dropped. Yes, when Jessica called. I forgot to turn it back off. Fuck. Matthew was already moving, grabbing his gun from where he'd stashed it. He tracked it. Ryan tracked the signal. How it's a burner. Anyone with the right software can triangulate a cell signal. If he has the number, which he does from the text, he can find the general area. Matthew moved to the window, looked out. There, headlights on the road. Sarah felt her world tilt. It's him. Can't tell yet, but we're not waiting to find out. Matthew grabbed her duffel, threw it at her. Out the back. Now, there's a trail through the woods that leads to a service road. Quarter mile. Can you run? Yes. Then go. I'll hold him here. Matthew, you can't go. The authority in his voice broke through her panic. Sarah grabbed the duffel and ran for the back door. Behind her, she heard Matthew on the phone calling for backup, calling for help that might not arrive in time. She burst out into the cold night air and ran for the tree line. Behind her, the car pulled up to the cabin. Doors slammed. A voice she knew too well echoed through the darkness. Sarah, I know you're in there. Ryan had found her. And somewhere in the woods behind her, Sarah ran into the darkness, not knowing if she'd ever feel safe again. Sarah's feet pounded against frozen earth branches, whipping her face. The duffel bag slammed against her hip with each stride. Behind her, Ryan's voice echoed through the trees. You can't run from me, Sarah, you know that? She could hear him crashing through the underbrush. Coming after her, of course he was coming after her. Ryan never let go of what he considered his. Her lungs burned. The darkness was absolute, no moon, no stars visible through the canopy. She stumbled over a root, caught herself on a tree trunk, kept moving. The service road, quarter mile. She could make it. A gunshot cracked the night air. Sarah hit the ground, instinctively, heart hammering. That came from the cabin. Matthew. Oh God, Matthew. That's right, run to your boyfriend. Ryan's voice was closer now. Too close. See where it gets you. See where any of this gets you. Sarah forced herself up and kept running. She couldn't help Matthew by going back. Could only help by getting away, by surviving by her phone. The burner was still in her pocket, still on, still broadcasting her location. She yanked it out while running, fumbled with the power button. The screen went dark, but the damage was done. Ryan had followed the signal this far. He knew the direction she'd gone. Another gunshot, then another. Rapid fire, not the single controlled shot from before. Sarah stopped running, turned back toward the cabin. What was happening? Was Matthew hurt? Was Ryan? Keep going, she whispered to herself. Matthew said to keep going, but her feet wouldn't move forward. 3 years of being told what to do, where to go, how to act, and now when someone was fighting for her survival, she was supposed to just run no. Sarah turned around and started back toward the cabin. She moved carefully now, quietly. Ryan was somewhere between her and the building, but the woods were thick enough to hide in if she was smart. She could hear him ahead, his breathing ragged, his footsteps clumsy. Sarah, he called out. Sarah, please. I'm sorry, I didn't mean. I never meant to scare you. I just love you so much. The same script, the same manipulation. But this time it didn't land. This time Sarah heard it for what it was, a predator's call to prey. She circled wide, using the trees for cover. Through the branches, she could see the cabin ahead. Lights still on, the door standing open, and Ryan moving toward it, something dark in his hand. A gun. Ryan had a gun. Sarah's blood went cold. Matthew was in there, possibly hurt, possibly bleeding, and Ryan was walking toward him with a weapon. She had to do something. Had to. A hand clamped over her mouth from behind. Sarah tried to scream, but the hand was immovable. She was pulled back against a hard chest, an arm wrapping around her waist. She struggled, kicked, tried to bite. It's me, Matthew's voice hissed in her ear. Stop fighting. She went limp with relief. He released her mouth and she spun to face him. You're alive. Quiet. He pulled her deeper into the trees, away from the cabin. In the dim light from the windows, she could see blood on his shoulder. You were supposed to keep running. I heard the gunshots. Warning shots, to keep him away from the back door while you escaped. Matthew's jaw was tight with pain. Why did you come back? I don't know. Sarah looked at the blood. You're hurt. Grazed. I'm fine. But he winced when he moved. Ryan's armed. Did you see? Yes. Where did he get a gun? Doesn't matter. What matters is he's desperate enough to use it. Matthew pulled out his phone, checked it. Backup's 15 minutes out. We need to keep him contained until then. Contain Matthew. He has a gun. So do I. He showed her his weapon. And I'm a better shot, though. Matthew. Ryan's voice boomed from near the cabin. I know you're out there. I know Sarah's with you. Send her out and we can all walk away from this. Matthew's expression was stone. He's bluffing. He knows if he leaves now, the police will find him within hours. So what does he want? To hurt you, to hurt me, to make someone pay for his loss of control. Matthew looked at her. Sarah, I need you to do exactly what I say. Can you do that? She nodded. Good. There's a hunting blind about 50 yards northeast. You're going to go there, stay low, stay quiet. When backup arrives, you tell them everything, understood? What about you? I'm going to end this. He checked his gun, started to move. Go? Now. Matthew, wait. He turned back, and something in his expression made her breath catch. If something happens to me, there's a man named Victor Chen. His number's in my phone under VC. He'll make sure you're protected. He'll handle Ryan if I can't. Don't talk like that. Sarah. He touched her face, brief and gentle. Go. Then he was gone, moving through the trees like a shadow. Sarah stood frozen for 3 seconds before her survival instinct kicked in. She ran northeast, counting steps, looking for the hunting blind Matthew had mentioned. Behind her, she heard Ryan still shouting, I know you're out there, Sarah, baby. Please just talk to me. She found the blind, a small elevated platform hidden in the branches. Climbed up, pulled her legs in tight, and tried to control her breathing. From here, she could see the cabin, the clearing, the two men circling each other like wolves. Ryan stepped into the light first. His face was wild, his hair disheveled. The gun shook in his hand. Show yourself. Stop hiding like a coward. Put down the weapon, Mr. Holt. Matthew's voice came from the darkness. Calm, controlled. This doesn't have to end badly. Badly for who you? You're the one who destroyed my life. Ryan spun, trying to locate Matthew by sound alone. You took my fiancée, poisoned her against me, made me look like a monster. You made yourself a monster. I just held up the mirror. Shut up. Ryan fired into the trees. The shot went wide, hitting nothing. You don't know me. You don't know what Sarah and I have. I know you tracked her every movement, stole her identity, terrorized her sister. Matthew stepped partially into view, gun trained on Ryan. I know you're a coward who only feels powerful when you're hurting someone weaker. I love her. You don't know what love is. Ryan's face twisted. And you do. You have known her for 2 days. 2 days I've spent 3 years with her, building a life, planning a future. His voice cracked. She was supposed to be mine. She's not property, Ryan. She's a person. And she chose to leave. Because of you. Ryan raised the gun, pointed it at Matthew's chest. If you hadn't interfered, we'd be fine. We'd be happy. She was never happy. You just convinced her that misery was normal. The words hit Ryan like a slap. For a moment, his expression crumpled. Then rage replaced everything else. I'm going to kill you. Right here. Right now. And then Sarah will come back to me. She'll have no choice. There's always a choice. Matthew didn't move, didn't lower his weapon. And Sarah chose freedom. You can't shoot that away. Watch me. Time slowed. Sarah saw Ryan's finger tighten on the trigger. Saw Matthew's stance shift. Saw the moment before violence became inevitable. No! Sarah's scream tore through the night. Both men froze. Ryan's head whipped toward her hiding spot. Sarah. His voice went soft, pleading. Sarah, baby, is that you? She couldn't let Matthew die for her, couldn't hide while someone else fought her battle. Sarah climbed down from the blind and stepped into the clearing. Sarah, don't... Matthew started. It's okay. She kept her eyes on Ryan. I'm here. I'm right here. Ryan's face transformed. Oh, thank God. Thank God, Sarah. He lowered the gun slightly. I knew you'd come back. I knew you still loved me. I don't love you, Ryan. The words came out clear and strong. I don't think I ever really did. I loved who I thought you were, but that person doesn't doesn't exist. Don't say that. Don't. We can fix this. We can go back to how things were from. You mean when you were tracking my every movement, stealing my identity, threatening to kill me every time we had a fight? Sarah took a step closer. That's what you want to go back to. I never meant those were just words. Words have power, Ryan, and yours broke me down piece by piece until I forgot who I was. Another step. But I'm remembering now. I'm remembering that I deserve better than living in fear. I can change. Ryan's voice pitched up. I swear to God, Sarah, I can change. Just give me another chance, please. I gave you 100 chances. Every time I stayed after you hurt me, that was a chance. Every time I forgave you, that was a chance. Every time I told myself you didn't mean it, that was a chance. Sarah's voice didn't waver. I'm done giving you chances. Ryan's face twisted. Fine, fine, if I can't have you, then nobody can. He raised the gun toward her. Matthew moved faster than Sarah thought possible. He tackled Ryan from the side, both men hitting the ground hard. The gun went flying, landing somewhere in the darkness. They fought like animals, punching, kicking, grappling for dominance. Matthew was trained, controlled, but Ryan was desperate. He fought dirty, going for eyes, throat, anything that might give him an advantage. Sarah ran for the gun, found it in the grass. Her hands shook as she picked it up. It was heavier than she expected. Cold. Deadly. Behind her, Ryan got the upper hand. He was on top of Matthew's, hands around his throat. Matthew's face was turning red, his movement slowing. Stop, Sarah's voice cracked. Ryan, stop or I'll shoot. Ryan looked up, saw her holding the gun, and he laughed. You won't shoot me, baby. You don't have it in you. You're too soft, too weak, too... Sarah pulled the trigger. The shot went wide intentionally. It hit the tree next to Ryan's head, bark exploding. Both men froze. The next one won't miss, Sarah said, her voice steady despite her shaking hands. Get off him, now! Ryan released Matthew's throat and stood slowly, hands up. Sarah, shut up. She kept the gun trained on him. I don't want to hear your voice ever again. Matthew coughed, gasping for air. He rolled over, got to his feet with visible effort. Good shot. I wasn't aiming at him. I know. Matthew pulled out zip ties from his pocket. Of course he had zip ties, and moved toward Ryan. Turn around, hands behind your back. You can't just, this is assault, kidnapping, I have rights. So did Sarah. So did Amanda. So did Emily and Jessica before her. Matthew grabbed Ryan's wrist, twisted it behind his back. Ryan yelped. And you violated every single one of them. He secured Ryan's hands, then his ankles. Ryan thrashed, shouting threats and accusations and promises. Matthew ignored him. Sirens wailed in the distance, getting closer. Back up, Matthew said, right on time. 3 cars pulled up, 2 police cruisers and an unmarked sedan. Officers poured out, weapons drawn. Matthew raised his hand, stepped back from Ryan. Matthew Davis, I'm the one who called this in. He gestured to Ryan. That's Ryan Holt, wanted for stalking, assault, identity theft, and attempted murder. The evidence is in the cabin. An officer moved to secure Ryan while another approached Matthew. You're injured. Flesh wound. I'm fine. Matthew looked at Sarah. She's the victim, Sarah Bennett. She'll need to give a statement. The female officer Sarah recognized from the hotel came forward. Ms. Bennett, are you all right? Sarah lowered the gun, hand still shaking. I think so. The officer took the weapon gently. You're safe now. He can't hurt you anymore. Sarah watched as they loaded Ryan into a police car. He was still screaming, still making threats. But for the first time, his words had no power over her. They were just noise. Empty. Meaningless. Matthew touched her arm. You did good. I almost killed him. But you didn't. You chose control. That's strength, Sarah. The EMTs wanted to check them both. Matthew's shoulder wound needed stitches. Sarah was scraped and bruised, but otherwise fine. They sat side by side in the ambulance while being patched up. What happens now? Sarah asked. Now the police process Ryan. With the fraud evidence, the stalking, the assault tonight, he's looking at serious time. Years, probably. Matthew winced as the EMT cleaned his wound. You'll need to give testimony. Might be tough. I can do tough now. Sarah looked at her hands. They'd stopped shaking. I'm done being scared. Good. Matthew was quiet for a moment. My business partner, the one who came to the cabin, he's going to want explanations. Might mean I have to leave the area for a while. Sarah's chest tightened. Oh, unless, he looked at her, unless you want to come with me. Come with you, Matthew. I barely know you. I know. And I'm not asking for romance or commitment or anything like that. I'm asking if you want a chance to start over. Completely over. New city, new identity if you want it, new life. He touched her hand. I have resources, connections. I can help you disappear if you want to, or I can help you rebuild right here. Your choice. Sarah thought about her apartment that was never hers. Her job she'd hated. Her life that had been built around Ryan's needs. What was there to go back to? Where would we go? She asked. Somewhere warm, somewhere far from here, somewhere you can figure out who you are without anyone telling you who to be. It was insane, running away with a man who'd killed people, who worked outside the law, who was dangerous in ways Ryan could never be. But Matthew's danger wasn't directed at her. It was for her, in defense of her. And maybe that made all the difference. Okay, she said, let's go. Matthew smiled, the first real smile she'd seen from him. Yeah, Sarah smiled back. But Matthew, when we get there, wherever there is, I'm getting my own place, and my own job, and my own life. You can be part of it, but you're not going to be all of it. Understood? Understood. He squeezed her hand. Wouldn't have it any other way. The police needed 2 more hours of statements. Sarah told them everything in the restaurant, the hotel, the apartment, the cabin. Every detail. Every moment. By the end, her throat was raw and her eyes burned with fatigue. Ryan was charged with 7 felonies. His bail was set impossibly high. The judge took one look at the evidence and called him a flight risk, a danger to the victim, a threat to society. He'd be in jail until trial, and after trial for years beyond that. Jessica called the next morning. I heard what happened. Are you okay? I'm okay. Sarah looked out the window of the hotel room where Matthew had brought her. A nice one this time, in her own name. Better than okay, actually. The news says Ryan's going to prison. Good. They also say some guy named Matthew Davis helped you, that he's some kind of security consultant. Jessica paused. Is he there now? Sarah glanced at Matthew, who was on the phone across the room coordinating their departure. Yes. Sarah, are you safe with him? Really safe? Yes, I promise. He's complicated, but he's good, and I trust him. Okay, but if that changes, I'll call you, I promise. Sarah took a breath. Jess, I'm leaving the city for a while, maybe forever. I need to start over. Her sister was quiet, then, I understand, will you stay in touch? As much as I can, but I need to disappear for a bit. Make sure Ryan can't find me even after he gets out. He won't get out for a long time. I know, but I need this anyway. For me. Jessica's voice cracked. I'm proud of you, little sister. You know that? I'm starting to believe it. They said goodbye with promises to video call to stay connected to not lose each other. Sarah meant every word. Matthew finished his call and came over. Ready? Ready? Sarah grabbed her bag, the same duffel she'd fled with, now packed with new clothes bought with her own money. Where are we going? You'll see when we get there. He opened the door. But Sarah, whatever happens, wherever we end up, you're in control. Your life, your choices, your future. I'm just along for the ride. Good answer. She stepped through the door and into the hallway, into the elevator, into the lobby, into the car waiting outside. As they drove away from the city, Sarah looked back one last time. Somewhere in that concrete jungle was the woman she used to be, the one who accepted less than she deserved, the one who stayed when she should have run, the one who forgot her own strength. That woman was gone now. In her place was someone new, someone who had stood up to her abuser, who had pulled a trigger to save a life, who had chosen herself over fear, who had learned that safety wasn't about finding the right person to protect you, it was about becoming strong enough to protect yourself. Sarah turned away from the rearview mirror and faced forward. The road ahead was uncertain, probably dangerous, definitely complicated, but it was hers, completely and absolutely hers. And for the first time in 3 years, she wasn't afraid of what came next. Because whatever it was, she would face it on her own terms, with her own strength, and with the absolute certainty that she would never again let anyone make her feel small. She was done being a victim. She was done being controlled. She was done being anyone's except her own. And that, Sarah realized as the city disappeared behind them, was the only freedom that had ever really mattered.